This week on the RacerX Show, Dungey, Roczen. In Washington, we have pro motocross highlights from the 450s and 250s. 1-1s across the board. For one rider, it's been a while. For another, his first. AMA Pro Flat Track was at the Sacramento Mile. And like it does on the long ones, it all came down to the draft and pass. But was it enough? Pro ATV motocross action from RedBud. More on the 1-1 side of things, this time to crown a champ. But some didn't have such a great weekend. And we have Motocross Nation's news. So, take a seat, sit back, and enjoy, because it's time to wick it up. Hello everyone and welcome to the RacerX Show presented by Chaparral Motorsports. I'm Greg White, the host of this racing highlight show. And this go around, we have motorcycle, ATV racing stuff for you, plus news. It's going to be a great show, so let's get it rolling.
The RacerX Show with Greg White is being presented by Chaparral Motorsports. Visit Chaparral Motorsports online at chapmoto.com.
We'll start you off with the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, where, as many of you have heard by now, is becoming a three-rider race. Now, not necessarily for the championship, but for moto and overall wins. Early on, it was Red Bull KTM teammates Ken Roczen and Ryan Dungey, with a smattering of James Stewart thrown in. But with Stewart struggling since the failed drug test announcement, and not even in attendance at Washougal, heads were pivoting around looking for the next rider to step up. Well, after last weekend's domination by GEICO Honda's Eli Tomac, it just might be him. I know in a way Dungey hopes so. Tomac might just be the break Dungey needs to get back in this championship after Roczen had his worst moto of the year last weekend in 4th. So, to the highlights we go with play-by-play announcer Jason Wygant and color commentator Grant Langston.
On the banks of the Columbia River is Washougal Motocross Park, the host site of the motorsport.com Washougal National, part of the continuing series, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing. Good start for number 10, Justin Brayton, but Ryan Dungey just on a different level today.
And a different line. You see the split section. We saw it work for both guys, both ways. Dungey gets to the inside, takes that line away. He gets out front, and boy, did he make a run for it.
Then Ken Roczen trying to make moves. Gets around Brayton, then he gets around Trey Kennard here. Take over the number 2 position. This is tight as they get down to the bottom of this hill.
Real tight. Roczen had to get to that inside to take the line away, and Trey Kennard probably not very happy about having his nose chopped off.
And then late in the moto, Eli Tomac makes a run. He gets Kennard, and here he passes Roczen for second. That is valuable championship points given up by our series leader. Kind of a surprise there. Tomac could do nothing with Dungey. Neither could anyone else. Best ride of the year for the number 5 wins by nearly 14 seconds. Here are the results. Kennard holds on for 4th. Metcalf wins that battle with Short, putting his Kawasaki in 5th. Pike, Brayton, Noren, and Craig round out the top 10. Here's the rest of the top 20. Sean Collier, privateer, back in action today. 20th and Tevin Tapia, good job scoring some points there as well. Tommy Week, local products, 16th.
Brayton got the whole shot, but it was not long-lived, because watch out, Brayton makes a mistake there, loses his drive. Metcalf has to check up, and Dungey just makes the most of it, going from 3rd to 1st, getting that lead when he would hold that lead.
Yeah, Dungey has got impressive speed today, although he would have to deal with Eli Tomac. Here he is on the number 3, getting around Metcalf after making the pass on Brayton. Gets into the number 2 position, and for a while he kept Dungey honest. They were battling. Then Metcalf has to deal with Roczen, who goes all the way around the outside of that corner, take over the number 3 spot. But that's as far as a series points leader would be able to climb in the order. Then Dungey was able to pull away a bit from Tomac and take the 2nd moto win. He had already won the 1st moto earlier today. That makes the math easy on us. 2 victories. You're the winner overall for the weekend. Here are the Moto 2 results. Metcalf and Short were battling all day long. They were 4th and 5th. Good ride for Pike. Noren 7th. Brayton, Week, and Hahn. The battle of the Tommies goes to Week. That's your top 10. That's Dungey's actually first 1-1 since the final race of 2012. So almost 2 years since he's been able to get the 50-point perfect score.
Yeah, you know, today you know, I just really tried to focus. I know not worrying about championship, let that play out itself, but man, that start right there wasn't the greatest, and I don't know how we weeded through those guys as quick as we did, but had a couple lines, got in the lead, and just was able to go strong. Eli was behind me, you know, really putting the pace down, so I was trying to match that, if not better, and I started to pull away, and then at the end there, just trying to open the distance. But man, this feels awesome. First 1-1 of this year, and overall feels great. I can't do it without Team Red Bull KTM, and Grandpa passed away this weekend from cancer, so you know, this one's for him. I know he's looking over watching us, and I miss him like crazy, but you know, life goes on. It's part of God's plan, and you know, we just got to make the most of life. But this feels great. This is awesome, and it's a big step going into the off weekend.
Look at the points, Jason.
Wow, it's close now.
It's really close. It's a two-horse race. Let's be honest. One of those KTM riders will win this title. Who is it going to be, though?
I know.
Kennard a little bit out of it. Metcalf now moves up to fourth. Passes James Stewart, like you said. Short, Grant, who couldn't ride. Pike, Tomac, and Reed. Top 10.
Battle is on here. Marvin Musquin in third place on the orange bike, looking to take second away from Christophe Pourcel on the blue machine, and makes it happen.
Goes a long way around, gets to the inside, chops him off, but Marvin was not down there. He wanted to go after the leader. And watch this, just launches down that hill, puts the bike in the way. Beautiful pass, very committed. But behind there, we would see some more drama. Watch this, Jason Anderson, just a violent get-off.
He was in the number 4 spot trying to get Blake Baggett, then Baggett in third would crash. Open the door up for Cooper Webb and Martin to get back around him. Meanwhile, watch this. Not much airtime there in the finish line jump, but just enough for Marvin Musquin to celebrate with an old-fashioned hero clicker and takes the victory. We'll prove it to you because we have the results from this moto. Pourcel makes the French 1-2. Webb outdueling his teammate for third. Baggett recovers for probably a disappointing, I would think, fifth. Justin Bogle stealing the lead from Christophe Pourcel. Bogle's on the red bike, 32. Gets around Pourcel to take the lead on lap 1.
And Bogle ran a phenomenal race. This guy was on fire. He pushed the whole way.
But he'd have company. Marvin Musquin got the second, got around Blake Baggett, then used this line to pass Bogle for the lead.
Just railed that outside, and Musquin on a mission today. See him coming up to the finish line. This guy almost did a heel click in the whoops, and then look at him pointing to the fans, to the people. Musquin takes the first win of this season. It's been since Mount Morris last year. Phenomenal ride for the guy.
Baggett, strong ride for second. Bogle does hold off Martin to put it up on the podium in this moto. Webb fifth, Wilson Zavaji, Alex Martin, Cole Seeley, and Jesse Nelson, the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda teammates, round out the top 10. Zach Bell, 11th, had a good start. Oregon's own Matt Michele, whose dad actually used to race the pro races out here back in the day, finishes up 12th. Zach Williams, good job by the Minnesota kid, finishing 14th. Pourcel had some problems there, ended up a lap down. This is what the overall results look like. Marvin Musquin the win, Blake Baggett second, makes up a little tiny bit of ground on Jeremy Martin in the series.
Justin Bogle rolled really well, like the first couple laps, and I was just being patient. And I was looking at his line, he was really good, and I really pushed at the end, and I saw Blake Baggett behind me, and it was tough, you know, but I'm so happy. 1-1, first time ever on my career, and I'm happy. Thanks Red Bull KTM, all my fans back at home in France, and my wife, Frankie, Roger, everybody. Thank you so much.
And here are the point standings. Like I said, Baggett makes up a little bit of ground. Webb didn't gain any out Martin today. It's exactly the same as it was, a 43-point gap between the teammates. They are hoping for a mistake, but there are still 6 motos to go. Baggett can tell you firsthand all the things that could go bad and cost you a whole bunch of points.
Now an update on Team USA and the upcoming Motocross of Nations in Latvia, which will see motocross racing nations of the world come together. 3 riders per country to see who gets to claim bragging rights as the fastest country on the planet. Red Bull KTM's Ryan Dungey, fresh off his Washougal win, now sounds like a lock for the team as the first 450 rider, along with GEICO Honda's finally healthy Eli Tomac, who finished second in both motos last Saturday. It's the 3rd member of the team, the 250 entry, that still seems uncertain. Yamalube Star Racing's Jeremy Martin is well out front in the points, but he's never raced professionally outside the U.S., let alone participated in the Motocross of Nations. Former 250 national champion Blake Baggett has, and his experience, not to mention his world-class speed, makes him an attractive candidate for Team USA manager Roger DeCoster. However, Baggett's recent struggles probably have dimmed his chances of making the team. And that means that Team USA will almost certainly have a Yamaha rider, Jeremy Martin, in its lineup for the first time in more than a decade. The last Yamaha rider for Team USA, Tim Ferry in 2003. We'll all know for sure next weekend at the Red Bull National, which is when the official lineup will likely be announced by AMA and Roger DeCoster.
All right, that's just a sample of the action that you're going to be seeing live on RacerTV. We'll have 32 hours of coverage from this, the Rocky Mountain ATV MC AMA Amateur National Motocross Championships, presented by AMSOIL. Jason Wienen here at Loretta Lynn Ranch. We have completed practice day. A lot of the bench racing, a lot of the talk about all the great graduates that'll be in the pro class before long. You got a couple of the Honda kids, RJ Hampshire, Jordan Smith, you got Aaron Plessinger. Kawasaki's got a lot invested with Chris Aldridge. So many other riders. Darren Sinai actually put in a lap time to beat them in one of the classes in practice today. Colt Nichols will be fast. So many fast A riders, and that's just the tip of the iceberg when you consider the B classes, which are usually the deepest of all. And of course the 85 Super Mini Schoolboy women's class. So many great races that we're going to have coverage for you here. So make sure you check out the schedule. We'll have 7 straight hours of coverage every day on RacerTV.com. If you want to come in person, you can of course come and purchase tickets right here. Come on down to the ranch for a day or two, see the best of motocross's future. But most importantly, we'll have all the coverage that you want to see next week right here on the RacerX show. So if you don't get to catch it live on RacerTV, if you have some excuse, I don't know what would be good enough to not see this, but we'll have plenty of highlights and plenty of action all here next week. Send it back to Greg.
Thanks, Jason. That is great stuff. 32 hours of live racing coverage on RacerTV.com. That is incredible. And if you want to go check out Loretta Lynn's event live, then go to mxsports.com for all the information. Now to dirt track in Northern California and the expectations on the back of Villa Esparza Crosley Radio's Bryan Smith. In the last 3 visits to the Sacramento Mile, Smith has been the man. So how about the pressure of a record-setting 4th win in a row? No big whoop, right? Now how about this? With a win, Smith can take over the points lead. Easy, right? Well, let's find out. To the video highlights we go. By the time we got to the main event, Smith had already shown that he's the man to beat on this night. He had the fastest heat win. That means pole position. He's number 42 on the left side of your screen. And next to him, points leader number 9, Jared Mees on his Rogers Racing Las Vegas Harley-Davidson. Smith is on a Kawasaki-powered machine. When it got going, Smith had a great jump and took Mees with him as they bent it into turn 1. Number 5 is Ramsar Winery's Jake Johnson, who sits 3rd in points, 1 behind Smith and only 6 behind Mees. But this is a mile, so the usual is long straights, draft and pass, and repass, and pass, and stuff like that. So let's get you right to the final lap, because it is close. Scotty Dubler with the call.
Johnson, Smith, Mees, Coolbeth is right there. He's going to be a player. As they go into turn number 3, final corner, last lap, last corner, the 25-lap main event. Can anybody do anything with Smith? Here comes your leader off the 4. The crowd is on their feet here at Sacramento. They're going to come blasting by. There they come. They set up for the draft pass. Is anybody going to pass Smith? No, sir. Smith makes history here tonight, his 4th consecutive Sacramento Mile.
So the top 3 in points mix it up. Johnson holds off Mees for 2nd, Brandon Robinson 4th. So Mees the only Harley in the top 4. The rest, Kawasaki EX650s punched out to 750s. Defending champ Baker in 6th. But we've got to hear from Smith.
Jake and Jared were right there the whole time, and the way the track was, it made it nobody could really jump out there. Jared almost got it a couple of times, and thank God I was able to reel him in there at the end of the straightaway. But man, it was a scrap the whole race. It felt like for me, I was just a little looser through the corners than them guys, and luckily was able to hold on to it.
We warned you about this. Flippy floppy. Smith now your leader by 2. And because there are some points awarded in the Dash for Cash race held earlier in the night, still 6 points between Mies and Johnson. In the pro singles class, it had all the makings of a checkout, which means one rider gets out front and just walks away. In the first half of the 12-lap main, it was number 67, Davis Fisher, who was gone. Maybe 3 or 4 seconds at one point. And he was looking comfy. It seems like the scraps were for second place. When all of a sudden,
it's Fisher by country mile now. Calendra's in second. Look at Johnson using the draft pass. He goes from 5th to 2nd place as he goes into turn number 1. That, my friends, is how you use the draft pass.
So now number 77, Kyle Johnson, is on a charge. But that gap, oh, that gap.
Kyle Johnson has caught the leader into turn number 3. This one is not over yet. How in the world did he shrink that 1.2 second lead to nothing? Here comes Johnson. Johnson putting on a charge. He's going to go by Fisher on the front straightaway. New leader. Wow. Where does this kid come up with all this speed at the end of the race? It's amazing.
To the last lap we go.
Wide flag is out. This time down the back straightaway. It's Kyle Johnson, Davis Fisher in the 2 spot. They are nose to tail going down the back straightaway. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You got a lot of breathing room. Back to them. It is Johnson. He held the lead, so it looks like Davis Fisher is going to try to set up the draft pass coming to the checkered flag. Last corner. Main event for the pro singles. Here they come. They are nose to tail off the corner. It is Johnson, puts his head down early. Davis Fisher trying to get the run. Here they come to the line. Is Fisher got anything for him? It's going to be Johnson by about a half a bike length. Man, where does this guy get the speed at the end of the races? Incredible.
That was a close one. Johnson from Fisher. Nick Armstrong gets to stand on the podium and get an interview. Brendan Wilhelm rounds out the top 5, but let's hear from Johnson about this race.
Oh, I definitely had a lot of work cut out for me. I had draft past a couple people, and by the time I got in the second, Davis had a nice little lead, and I definitely had to push myself to be able to reel him in, and the last couple laps we were able to put on a great charge.
Did you feel like you had something for him coming through the line that you could make that pass and make it stick?
I felt like we did. I knew we were rolling good to the corner. Davis was obviously rolling good to the corners too, but I feel like we made up a lot of time there, and that's where we were able to kind of win it.
With his 4th win of the 7 races, Kyle Johnson now sits on a 3-point lead over Davis Fisher. Ryan Wells, who finished 6th in this one, 11 back. That's your tally at the halfway point of the season. We know you're getting into AMA Pro Flat Track. The racing's great, the points are close. So check out fanschoice.tv next weekend live. It's the Castle Rock TT from Castle Rock Race Park in Washington. Pro singles happen at 9:30 p.m. West Coast, 12:30 a.m. on the East, with the Grand National Championship race at 10 p.m. local, 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Don't miss it, fanschoice.tv. And now to ATV racing, with the penultimate round of the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross National Championship resulting in a championship hat trick. And what better way to do it than by dominating the weekend with a 1-1 finish for the overall and the number 1 plate. And yup, you guessed it, it was Chad Wienen of Wienen Motorsports Yamaha. That's the overall story, but this is how it all happened. Warm weather greeted the field of ATV hopefuls as they arrived at the famed RedBud track in Michigan. In the opening moto, Motorsport.com Honda's John Natale punched out of the gate and into turn 1 first, capturing the SSI Decals Whole Shot Award. Josh Upperman, Jeff Rastrelli, and Wienen in tow. That was until Upperman did this. He'd pick it up and keep going. On the same lap, Rastrelli wanted to one-up Upperman. As for Natale, he held the lead for the first lap, but Wienen applied the pressure quickly and made his move to the front the following lap. And when there's a clear track, Wienen puts the hammer down. See ya. That left Natale in the clutches of the hard-charging Joel Hetrick aboard his JB Racing Can-Am. He grabbed second on the 3rd lap, getting by Natale, and that would take care of the podium. Confirmation, Wienen, Natale, and Hetrick. Natale's teammate Brown 4th, with Josh Upperman a boohoo 7th after that big crash in Moto 1. To Moto 2 we go. With 1 moto in the bag for Wienen, you might think he'd cruise it home for the AMA Pro ATV crown, but nah. Wienen seized control of Moto 2 out of the gate, grabbing the whole shot. When you have to compete against Wienen and he bolts, that's gotta sting. Baldwin Motorsports Honda's Josh Upperman jumped out to a great start in second, with Natali not far behind in third and Brown in fourth. After solid first motos, both Hetrick and Connecticut's Josh Creamer were forced to fight their way from starts outside the top 5. With Wienen gone, again, the focus turned to the battle between Upperman and Natali for second. The pair were close until Upperman made a mistake on the final lap that allowed Natali to snag second. Brown was in the hunt for the podium again in Moto 2, but had to settle for fourth. Jeffrey Rastrelli in fifth. But with his third win in a row at RedBud, his sweep of the weekend, and his third championship in a row, we've got to chat up Chad Wienen.
Ripped the whole shot and just led it from start to finish, and that was just kind of like a glory ride out there to seal up the championship. And you know, I'm just so pumped on our program, everybody helping us, the fans, you know, everybody, thank you. And this is awesome up here. RedBud, thank you.
The overall, Wienen's 1-1 with Natali's 3-2. Hetrick was able to hold on to third, even with his sixth in Moto 2. Upperman goes 7-3 to round out the top 5. Wienen could stay home because he's already got it all wrapped up. But second is still close and will come down to the final race of the season, August 9th in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee at Loretta Lynn's Ranch. Get out and check them out. In the Pro-Am class, a big surprise as Union City, Tennessee, by way of Argentina, Vitale Casanave took the overall by going 1-2, beating Jeffrey Rastrelli, who went 4-1 to finish second. Tyler Hamrick, a solid 2-3 for third. 6 of the top 9 have scored wins this season, with only Rastrelli and Hagerson logging 2 in 2014. Casanave, who sits 8th, his second best to this overall was the last one, 3rd. Nice surge from a rider whose best was 8th overall. Hey, we want you to get out and watch some racing. Go in person. And if you're in Castle Rock, Washington area, go check out AMA Pro Flat Track Racing. Easy to hang with the racers. It's an open pit if you arrive early. Get an autograph or two. We already told you about Loretta Lynn's and all the amateur racing going on in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. So check it out for yourself. You might get motivated to get out and race a bit. And on Sunday, the AMA Pro Hill Climb. You've seen this perspective. But in Muskegon, Michigan, you can put your eyes on the hill, your nose to the smell of the gas, and your ears to the thundering sound of the hill climber. If you go, tell us about it. We want to know.
The RacerX Show with Greg White is being presented by Chaparral Motorsports. Visit Chaparral Motorsports online at chatmoto.com.
Hey, if you're wondering about my t-shirt, you can buy these right now if you attend the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championships. There's only 3 rounds left, but then you'll be able to buy them at racerxbrand.com. They have killer stuff on their site right now, and this new shirt plus a bunch of other new stuff will be available soon. Okay, if you want to get in touch with us, shoot me an email, greg@racertv.com. If you want us to put your local races on the event calendar, greg@racertv.com. Well, that's it for now. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure did. Check us out on all of our social media links. Like us, follow us, do all that kind of stuff. And you can follow me personally on Twitter. It's @GregWhite. For the fine crew here at the RacerX Show presented by Chaparral Motorsports and RacerTV, I'm Greg White. Remember, we are all racing all the time. Bye-bye.